53. Yeah, we always start Monday with work week weather, and Landon Aydlett from the National Weather Service joining us now. Landon, good morning.
Good morning. How are y'all doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, well, on that subject of snow, I was just doing a little bit of Google searching, and as somebody pointed out on the comments earlier, there was snow reported, I think, in 1857. There are some mixed reviews coming in on some of the Google searches, people stating that it's not possible, it's a tropical country and whatsoever. But there are those reports of March 12th, 1857, that could be attributed to the end of the little ice age that was going on for several hundred years. It looks like a start date of 1303 to 1860. So I sent a message to one of my friends in weather in Cuba, and I'm waiting for him to get back to me, and I'll find a definite answer from the meteorologist on the ground in Cuba once he responds back to me. So
See,
yeah, it
who
looks
needs
like
Wikipedia when we got a friend on the inside?
exactly. So some of their elevations, I think the highest peak is about 6,600 feet. So as you go up in altitude, obviously the temperature does cool. So if you've ever been in the mountains, like the Rocky Mountains or Appalachian Mountains in North Carolina, you go up higher in altitude or elevation, and the temperature does cool off rapidly. Same thing for Baguio. If you're in the Philippines,
Right.
the higher you go in the elevation, the cooler it gets. So is it high enough and is it cold enough to get that snow in the right situation? That's the key.
So we're
So
talking we're talking
yeah,
about it might have snowed on top of the mountain in Cuba, not like blanket snowstorm, 6 inches of snow everywhere.
yeah, you're likely not going to get 6 inches of snow right at the beach at the
Right.
sea level.
Yeah.
But yeah, snow on Guam, not too likely. It's just we're too far south where our elevations are too low. But you've probably seen it in the headlines. You can get snow in Hawaii, and they get that all the time in the
Hold
Big
on.
Island
And
where they
Mount
have these very
Kilauea.
high peaks.
Is that Mount Kilauea?
Yes. Yeah, so they get it up there on their two big peaks. And I think sometimes on Saddle Road, which is a beautiful drive, you feel like you're not in Hawaii when you're taking that Saddle Road through the heart of Big Island. So if you ever get a chance, go over there.
Right on.
Weather-wise, if you see behind me, it is getting kind of bright out there between the blinds. But if you're up this morning at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, it was not the case. It was a lot of showers, probably the wettest day we've had in a couple of weeks across the island. Most locations got anywhere between a tenth of an inch to maybe a quarter of an inch if you're lucky. Where are we right now? It has pushed through and it has dried out. So I'm going to get this satellite animating. There you go. Just a little small scale shower event, just enough to bring a little bit of wetness to the island, which is what we really need this time of the year. Our drought factor is increasing. We are at a high fire danger. And let me pull up my slides over here. You can keep on the animation, Jason, for now, and then we'll go to the slides shortly. I'm going to broaden our view. Really not much out there other than my silhouette from the window. But this little area of showers that's pushing through, lots of dry air behind it. This will be the theme for the week. Our tropical storm that blew through Palau over the weekend, well, it was actually developing depression when it passed over Palau over the weekend late last week. Then it became a tropical storm as it was heading towards 130 east longitude. And that's still spinning out there north of the Philippines. I think it has made landfall over some of the southeastern islands of the Philippines. It's really a piece of junk, really not that exciting, not aesthetic, but it is bringing some minor problems to those Filipino islands, showers, thunderstorms, and gusty winds, but nothing significant like a severe tropical storm or a typhoon for that matter. So for us, not bad. We did have some high season surf over the weekend. That was from the north swell that we were talking about early last week that was going to come in for the weekend. That came from a strong North Pacific cold frontal system that generated the winds, that generated the seas, and then they pushed down southward towards the islands. We have this boundary sitting to our north. That's going to stay to our north and not affect us. So go ahead and switch over to the slides, Jason.
Yep.
And let me pull up my slides on my computer so I can follow along. So this morning, not bad out there. Moderate risk of rip currents across Guam and the CNMI. The fire danger is high and that continues to increase. We might have a little bit of reprieve from the showers this morning if it's enough. Otherwise, drought conditions, we are seeing abnormally dry conditions across Guam and the CNMI. Across Micronesia, extreme drought continues for Kapinga-Maringi. Severe drought now in place across the northern Marshall Islands and abnormally dry conditions at Jaluit in the Marshall Islands and Fananu in the northern islands of Chuuk. Next slide, current conditions. We had northeast to east winds around 10 miles per hour, but when those showers pushed through on 4 a.m., and I was going to get on my motorcycle and take that into work this morning, of course, that triggered the showers. So that's the reason for the showers today. 15 miles per hour gusting to 20 with those showers. That again is clearing out with drier conditions expected today. Mostly cloudy with showers this morning. And that asterisk there, that's because we are drying out. That's all moving to our west. Current temperature as of the making of this slide is of 75. That is going to go up. We're probably closer to 79 or 80 right now. Rainfall yesterday, a trace of rain with our annual total so far since January 1st, 4.94 inches, and we are below normal as we proceed into the dry season. Sea conditions, right now we're looking at combined seas of 6 to 7 feet with a north swell that's decreasing gradually at 4 to 5 feet and the east swell at 3 to 5 feet. And again, these polar spectrum showing the bulk of that swell coming from the north with that residual trade wind swell continuing. We're going to see seas and surf decrease in the next day or two, but we're going to have another frontal system pass to our north late this week, and that's going to generate seas and surf that's going to reach Guam and the CNMI later in the weekend. So you could see another round of high surf probably on Sunday. Next slide, the drought conditions. Again, we are in the dry season and we'll be here for several more months. So we're going to see these drought conditions increase across the islands, across the Marianas, but also across Micronesia. The rainfall in Palau and Yap, that did help them last week as that tropical disturbance passed over them. And the next slide, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, still following the tropical storm. That's probably been diminished to a tropical depression as it made landfall and continues to weaken in the days to come. Now, we did have questions last week with that tropical depression. Does this happen? And yes, it does. I spoke last Monday about Typhoon Wutip that developed in eastern Micronesia 2 years ago in February, and that became a super typhoon. I think it was the strongest super typhoon in the month of February recorded in the West Pacific. This is our climatology from 1945 to 2019 showing all the storms that pass within 1, 2, and 3 degrees of Guam. So if there's a storm within 3 degrees of Guam, that's considered a glancing blow versus 1 degree is considered a direct hit. And those are broken down by miles. So we do have a small climatology of tropical cyclones. That's inclusive of tropical depressions, tropical storms, and typhoons every month of the year. So in the right conditions, we can see these cyclones come near Guam any time of the year. We just need them to all happen together at once. And so we had, on a lesser scale, that situation last week for Palau. We had that tropical depression that became our first tropical storm of 2021. Is that indicative of what we expect to see for the rest of the year? Not so much so. It was just one of those occasions that everything came together just right that we could spit out a single tropical storm. Do we have any suspect areas in the next couple weeks? Not at this time. It looks pretty much full-blown dry season across the region with no major concerns. For the week ahead, mostly sunny today with a slight chance of showers for the rest of the day. East winds at 15 to 20 miles per hour, combined seas at 6 to 7 feet, and out over the waters 15 to 20 knots. The surf remains a little bit elevated, but only a moderate risk of rip currents along north and west facing reefs, and then east facing reefs at 4 to 6 feet. Surf will continue to fall or subside just slightly across north and west facing reefs. Midweek, partly cloudy with isolated light showers. East winds will drop slightly to 10 to 15 miles per hour, and combined seas will bottom out at about 4 to 6 feet. This weekend, partly cloudy skies continue with only isolated showers, and winds will bump up just a little bit as that next frontal system passes to our north. We could see some of that action in the way of winds, seas, and surf, especially by Sunday. And then finally, join the Weather Ready Nation. I took a call from a viewer last week. She was interested in getting her daughter's school signed up. Of course, her daughter was in San Diego, so I'm working with my counterpart at the San Diego National Weather Service office to work with that school system over there. And then hopefully we'll start a partnership between the weather office there and the school system. But that's what we also want to do over here in the region, because we want to educate people, make sure people are weather ready, resilient, and wise. So that's all I've got this morning.
Well, and Landon, real quick, because there's several of our commenters actually saying that they did live or work in Hawaii, and saying, yes, snow is very, very possible. Maggie Anderson is saying we got snow on the island of Maui in Haleakala. I've heard that before. And then Harvey is saying, I used to work in Mauna Kea, and one night we had 8 to 10, not sure if he meant feet or inches of snow, but he goes, snow was actually common. So for people that are interested in this kind of work, I saw on Facebook over the weekend, you guys had a post, and you guys are actually have an internship opportunity, right?
That's correct. And this comes up usually most summers. So I'm going to go back to my screen over here. I posted this on our Facebook page last week. So go to U.S. National Weather Service Guam, and I think it's the second or third post on the page. Have you ever wondered what it's like to work in the National Weather Service? Find this post and follow the directions. If you are enrolled in school, that's the key requirement. You have to be enrolled in school, whether it's late in high school years or in college with a focus on science. You have to apply for this. This is a summer internship, so it's only at the most 2 months long, and it begins, your internship can be anywhere between April and September 30th of this year. So we have these opportunities every once in a while. We didn't have it last year. We had 2 folks from on island here 2 years ago, but then previous years we've had no internships. So this is a great opportunity if you're interested in science and anything atmospheric related. The 2 positions, one's IT and one is physical scientist, which would be in the meteorology program. So
nice. Okay,
if you're
well,
interested,
I can say, because, like I'm a tech dork and everything. That's no big secret. But I've actually been to your office many, many times, and the technical resources that you guys have to do what you do are world class. I mean, trust me, if you guys are watching this and you're an IT person and you want some really cool things and you really want to see the power of computing, check out Landon, because I mean, like you guys have a really nice setup.
Yeah, and we have the latest cutting edge technology. So whatever you see in our office is identical to the software and equipment that we have in our New York City offices, Washington, D.C. headquarters, or in Los Angeles. So we have all the same software, technology, computer systems as every other 121 National Weather Service offices across the United States.
Very nice.
So again, we're not all meteorologists. We have IT, we have electronics technicians. And so it's never too late to come and visit us once we're allowing visitors again, hopefully in a couple weeks, to come and visit our facility, meet us, meet the personnel that's in our facility, and learn about the different opportunities. One thing to note is this opening is through Friday. So you have to go to usajobs.com, find this information, go to the link on our Facebook page and apply by Friday, because that's when the deadline is. And let's see if you can get in the building.
Nice.
Right on, Landon. Thank you.
Kids, make sure you
Have
do
a great
that,
day.
man.
You too,
That's going to
man.
look great on your resume.